Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and a finale of our 1925 Model T Ford 3-in-1 kit where you can build two full kits out of it. This is by AMT. I've had this thing sitting on the shelf for at least 15 years. And Lennis was building the other version of this, and I thought, you know what, this thing has baby moons, or the full-size moons in it. So I dug it out to grab the moons out of it for my Bel Air kit, and thought, you know what, why haven't I done anything with this thing? So I pulled it out and started working on it, and I had a blast with this thing. There was a couple of good burgers today. The pizza wasn't bad either. There was a couple of things that kind of threw me for a loop, but all in all, it worked out really great. Hey, I'd like everybody to meet Wes. He's our new body guy. He is an expert with body work, so I'm glad to have him in the shop now. Let me move all this out of the way here so I don't mess it up. The top on this isn't supposed to be on this kit, and it really doesn't fit all that well. I mean, you can see the cushions overlap, and I just have it setting on there. But I think it looks pretty cool, so I kind of just left it there for now. And oh, geez. Well, you know, Daisy, she's going to hang out. But it just, let me tilt it up here. It just kind of sets on there, but it sets on there well enough to where it kind of gives it a neat look. So I'm not going to glue it on for sure, but I am going to keep it with it just because I like that look. So let me bring you down and let's talk about this thing. It has a nice engine, and it's the first time I've done one of those magnetos, I guess you call it, instead of a distributor. So what I did is I drilled a hole straight through that thing and just took 4 wires and ran them through. I already painted them yellow. Ran them through, pulled them past a little bit from center, and then put a dab of super glue on it, and then pulled it back. And that glued everything into place. I let it sit for 2 minutes, and then I started running my plug wires from that. And I think it looks pretty darn good. It really does. The interior in this thing is great. I will do a quick picture video at the end just to show while I was building it. I know I only did it on one update, but yesterday I sat down here and I had all the chrome painted and just started putting it together, and next thing you know, I was pretty much done. It went that quick. This morning I sat here and I thought, you know what, I'm going to toss the moon tank on the front of that too. Just because I haven't done anything. No, I don't think any of my kits, my Roadsters, have a moon tank, so now I got one. I was kind of shooting for a baby demon, you know, a lot like the red demon that I built, just 1/24 scale, 1/25 scale. I think it's 1/24th, I'm not sure. But I wanted to even put the shark's mouth on this thing like the other one, but my printer said not this week. So I'm going to have to find a printer and print that thing out, and I will eventually get the shark's teeth on this just because I think that'll look great on there. The rims I painted black first. I wish I would have done it to the engine, but I already had the engine 3/4 of the way built before I thought of it. And I painted the rims black and then red, and I like how that looks. The chrome on this is all, it's the airbrush version of my green stuff. This is the brush version, and this stuff works really nice for touch-up chrome work. I mean, it comes out chrome. I like it. You're not going to do a big surface with it, but it does well. And this stuff, I mean, check out that tank, the oil pan. I think it looks great. The exhaust on here, if you're looking at it, it's supposed to have these pipes where they run down the side of it. not a big fan of these. Plus, the Big Red Demon had them coming down the side like that and then tucking underneath. So I found these. They're from one of my Revell Roadster kits. I don't know why I even had them in the drawer, but I did. So we used those, and I like that look. I like the way they dump out. I drilled them out, used a little panel liner inside them, and I think they look really, really good. The dashboard on this, I'll put a picture in the music of the dashboard. There's some pretty decent detail on that dashboard. A lot more than you see when you were first doing it. Once you started highlighting it, it was like, whoa, that looks pretty good. So again, I dropped the moon tank. I had one heck of a time with the two side pieces here, trying to figure out how they're supposed to work. And what I figured out on this is, if you're ever building one, and I was just talking to Lennis about this, is since I'm using the front fenders, I glued the front spring and everything on, and then I glued these straight to the fender, or the fender straight to that hub. Let that dry, and then I came in with this piece right up top. I glued that piece to the fender, and then let it dry, and then I was making sure that it was lined up here, and then I bent it out a little bit, glued it to that, let it dry, came around, and this is supposed to fit in the gap where the fender comes in, and I pushed it in there and glued that into place. But it's just finicky, and the directions weren't that great on how to do it, so it took me a little while. The back axle assembly, man, you almost need a third hand growing out of your chest to put this together. The springs go on, and then the two axles, hub or covers or whatever you call them, go on to the center, and then you run your axle in there, and then these two pieces glue on to the centers, but they have to glue on to where they line up with the holes here, and they slide into the spring all at the same time. So really a third hand growing out of your chest would have really made a difference on there. It took me about an hour to do that. But honestly, once this kit is all painted, it goes together fast. Because like I said, yesterday I came down here, I didn't have any, I had the engine almost together. I had the carbs painted, all the parts painted, but nothing was really glued up. By, 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I walked out of here, it was pretty much done except for the moon tank, and I added that about 10 minutes ago just because I thought, I don't have a moon tank on anything. So there it is, the tonneau. I did the little rivets. Like I said, there's good detail on here. Just the directions need a little bit of help. My tailgate didn't fit into place properly. I could have ground it down real far or ground the inside out or something, but it didn't lock all the way in. So I do have a little bit of a gap on both corners right here. But it's okay. It looks good. The Ford logo came out good. That's hand painted on there. I opted to put the taillights on the bottom here underneath because I didn't like the way they looked up top here on the tailgate. It just didn't, it didn't work for me. But underneath there, I think they look pretty darn good. The rims or the tires, I forgot to scuff. So what I did to dirty them up is I used my pastels, which is brown, and it looks a lot better. There we go. It looks pretty scuffed up. It looks good. So I saved the day with myself there because they really needed something. I'm glad they didn't have a line in them because I already had everything glued up when I realized I didn't do it. The steering wheel goes straight to the floor in this instead of going forward. But that's where the steering linkage comes out, so it's supposed to go that way. The stick shift I just painted white. I was thinking about taking something and trying to make a skull out of it, and everything I did looked bad. So I just left it go. The other thing I did, not thinking, is before I painted the body, I glued the windshield on, the windshield frame. Just went on real easy, glued solid. I wanted a good solid glue on the body of this. And the only way to do that is to do it before you paint, and then, deal with it afterwards, deal with the glass afterwards. But what I forgot to do is I forgot to cut the dang glass down. So I got the full windshield on here, and that's why I threw this on. Because even with this on, it doesn't look as bad. This doesn't quite fit right, but it really looks cool on the side view. Let me tilt this up like that. See, it's almost right, but not. So it's not going to go with it, but it doesn't look bad. It's got a good side view to it. The motometer on here, I painted the white and tried to give it some detail. I did add linkage to the carb and fuel lines to the carb, along with the wires. I didn't go much past that, just because there's not a whole lot of extra detail that I could have thrown in here that wouldn't have made it kind of look junky. Except for, I almost forgot to tell you, this kit does not have radiator hoses. None in the box, none in the directions, not supposed to have it. So I added the upper and lower radiator hoses. I mean, it wasn't hard to do. All I used is a piece of round plastic sprue that I had, or round plastic rod that I had from an old ship build I did. And I just kind of bent it where it needed to be bent, and then painted it with the flat black, and it looks a whole lot better. It took me a minute to figure out what it was missing, and I was like, there's no hoses. So there we go. Decent AMT kit from a long time ago. Like I said, this thing was probably on the shelf for, a good 15 to 20 years. So with that, let's start the music. I want to thank everybody for following along, even though it was a short build. I want to thank you for all the good comments, the suggestions, the thumbs up, the subscriptions. We're moving right along with subscriptions, and that really helps keep the videos coming out to everybody. So I appreciate when you subscribe to the channel. With that, I want to let you go. Thanks again for watching. Y'all have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now let the music roll.